Greetings and salutations, friends. It's me again, character NPC, Dungeon Master, player, non-player character, all rolled into one. Happy to be back at the gaming table here, rolling dice and putting pencil to paper, playing around with some miniatures, getting to use the old equipment from the old days. I was really lucky to get it out of the attic when I did, actually. I noticed how much the paper, I lost Teagle Manor. I was noticing the other day the map is just disintegrating. I probably shouldn't be rubbing up against this Judges Guild campaign map either, but I'm enjoying it too much. You gotta use it, right? It's like having a car in the garage you never drive. You can't leave the Porsche there all the time. You gotta run it. And so, dear friends, I hope you had a fabulous week and you're ready for a great weekend. It's Friday night, and as I said, I'm sitting down at the gaming table. Need to finish a few things. If you've been following along, we've had our first characters die. Our cleric, who was our would-be leader of the party, Aetbert Cuthbert, is dead, and Jorbus Bicklemole, the gnome we never really knew. And it's a new day, but the conundrum is first edition Dungeons and Dragons, advanced Dungeons and Dragons, as close to rules as written as I want to be and makes sense. This whole conundrum of zero, below zero, negative, death. I already told you about my version is only -3. It doesn't go to -10. Below -3, you roll a system shock survival test if you even survive a second, but for the most part you're going to die, and -3 is the cusp of everything. But how long until you've been magically healed? So you've got this injection of, stimulus and goodness and ready to go, hey. Because Svaldi's up to full hit points, right? But can he memorize spells? Can a fighter carry all of his armor and weight? Because we're heavily encumbered. All of us are heavily encumbered. Svaldi even has to carry his 45-pound spell book. That's a minimum, at this point, because he's only first level. Later on, he'll be able to afford to probably buy. I don't think he can make a travel spell book until later levels, but anyway, I think you're feeling my pain here. So we have to figure out how we're going to deal with survival of being, ravaged by wolves, and now you're going to get up and go on your happy little way after not even having a tent. We've had food and water and stuff, but thankfully it hasn't rained on us and been freezing at the same time. I haven't really been doing all of the climate from the weather. I've had the weather effects and they're cool, but I haven't been doing the climate, like freezing all the time. And so, first things first here, let's kind of recap that we are trying to get back to Elfwine, and we are 5 miles from Hex 1323. These are 30-mile hexes. We're 25 miles in. So we're right about here. But it usually takes us 3 days to get across a hex. If it rains, it's going to take us more like 4 or 5. So, we still have like a week's worth of travel is what I'm anticipating. and we gained some food, and so we ate this, is what I'm saying, for this night, because this would be represented by hunting and more fresh food, while the dried food, iron rations, will last longer and is a bit lighter. So we've been camping. The wolves attacked on the 2nd in the morning, early morning. We hadn't even started really prayers, and we were just kind of getting up, and they attacked and surprised us and just mauled us. Everybody was down but Asher Winwood. Exciting episode. And then we rested the 3rd and now the 4th. The party members that were down to 0, because everybody was unconscious but Asher. So those that were just down to 0 were up, but Willam, I have not had allowed him to pray for spells yet, and it's been now 2 full days since he dropped unconscious. So I think into the new day, tomorrow, the day we're about to start, I'm going to allow him to start praying for spells, and that will help us, I think, get moving a bit without metagaming too much. I mean, he recuperated here the full day on the 2nd, but didn't gain a point that day. Then gained a point here, and has been healed. So he's had, almost 3 days, or it will be about 3 days here in a minute. Our fighter, Randall Windsor, on the other hand, he's up and about, and he's trying to walk it off, as they say, and be the tough guy fighter representative, do his job. So Asher appreciates it, because it was the first time he was able to sleep last night in a few days without just being little cat naps with one eye open against the tree, as he was our lone defender. Balda and Tiny, in the meantime, as non-player characters that were there just to escort and pray, be vigil. I don't know what do they call it, an adjective? Whatever that thing is, that thing like be verbs. They're supposed to praise that they're doing their vigils over the receptacle. They did not participate in that battle against the wolves, but they have been helping the party since. So as NPCs, they're set, but they did have 1 cure light wounds and they create water, which really kind of saved us. Hopefully now Willam will be able to step up and take over as a main character in the party. So the last thing I'll say is, man, we've got to move. Like, the longer we stay out here, the more food we eat, the more encounters we have. It's bad, all bad if we just sit here much longer. But we don't have a place for Svaldi without it, being disruptive to the clerical matters at hand. So we'll see how this plays out. So soon enough, sun starts to rise, we hear some birds chirping, and it's time to deal with the weather. This is going to be the 5th of Growfest. We're in a waning moon and a full moon, or maybe that's a new moon. Actually, I think that's a new moon. I don't know the names of the moons yet. And we didn't have to use a food. We did, but that was hunting. I don't know how I'm going to represent that, but we did water. We did use water. And the 5th. It's water day. How appropriate. We're still in 1422. We're at full movement, so I'm not going to write that anymore. Just got some food and some water. Okay. And we have 8, which makes that 50 for a high, 50 degrees Fahrenheit, and a low of 1131. And cloud conditions, sky conditions, 33. Low is good. Partly cloudy. Hopefully no precipitation. Oh, 1. Yes, we have some precipitation. It's hard to keep saying precipitation. Precipitation, precipitation. Phenomenon, precipitation. Alright, and what is it? It is 26. Hailstorm. No, we can't have a hailstorm. Requires 65-degree max. We're not near there. So we ignore it. That's how the rules work. We got lucky. Alright. So that puts us in a place where we begin to wake up and the day begins. Pardon me, it's Friday night. I'm having a beer. Hope you are too, or whatever your favorite beverage is. Maybe it's Dr. Pepper. I used to like to drink Dr. Pepper or Mr. Pibb if I didn't have Dr. Pepper when I was playing D&D with friends. And just like this on a Friday night, man, we couldn't wait to get started. And we'd try to play the whole weekend. Keep asking to spend the night, Mom, can I spend the night over? You remember the days. Alright. So, let me see here. Let me see. We need to roll for our first morning encounter. And we'll do that before we do our prayers and everything. But, just note that this is the moment in the day when the sun is first coming up. Oh, no, I want Asher Wildwood to hunt first. That would be valuable. And 15 wisdom check to find some prey and track it. Yes, just barely. He finds some kind of prey. He finds a bunch of these axis deer, I think they're called. Finds some axis deer. Little troop of them on a trail. And a dexterity check to see if he can catch some. Yes, he does. Alright, so he comes back with a haunch of deer over his shoulder. And, already gutted. Comes back to camp and starts cooking it up. And everybody smells that burning meat. Gets up. They start saying their prayers. Tiny and Balda. Tiny goes ahead and casts the create water again. I'm just doing that every day instead of trying to keep track of all of it. So we constantly have 2 days worth of water filled every time he does this every day. So unless we get caught where we can't rest, where we're a day behind, we should always have nearly 2 days worth of water. And I believe that the party is already healed. Oh, everybody except Asher. I think Asher... Yeah, Randall is healed. Asher's still hurt. Aetbert's dead. Willam's down 1. But he's resting another day, so he would actually gain that. Svaldi Mundai is up to full, but still unconscious, or has been. Jorbus is dead. So I'm going to have Balda cast Cure Light Wounds on Asher Wildwood as he comes back with the deer meat. And Balda lays hands on him. Oh, St. Cuthbert, give us the power to heal this man and cudgel thy enemies in the night. 3. So that was half. He was down 6 still, so he's only down 3. That's good. He's a little bits better. Oh, and like I said, because Willam is still not doing anything, he will be able to heal this one last point. He hasn't been doing anything for several days. And he was only down to oh, wait. Was he down to, I think he was only down to 0. I think he and... I'd have to go back and look at the previous storyline, but I think he was one of them that was only down to 0. Alright, so tonight he'll go through his, preparation for praying for spells. In the meantime, though, we are several days, we're not quite a week into Svaldi Mundai's time in a, unconscious coma. But he should be up and around in another couple of days, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to go back and actually look at the calendar. In the meantime, it's time for us to make our morning very first encounter check of the day. Oh, and I thought that was a 1 coming up for a second. I don't need any more of the party getting killed. So we got food here. We don't do anything for another day, and that makes it this will be the third full day, plus really the full day of the day the attack happened, because it happened so early in the morning. That was really pretty much a day of rest with sleep to the next day. You know, so 1, 2, 3. This would be the fourth day, you might say. We'll still call it 3, but I'm not sure what to do about Spaldy. After today, with the additional spells that we have, the party will be at full hit points. It's more of a system shock type scenario, and why I liked using that check for those people who went down below 0 and were at the -3 brink. If you didn't watch the last stream, those who reach 0 fall unconscious from their wounds, and then I deemed -3 the breaking point for death. But if you're -1, 2, or 3, you're still just unconscious. You're not necessarily dead, but you're going to drop another point from bleeding and, you know, whatever other kind of problems that you may have. If someone isn't going to bind your wounds, so every round you're going to take damage until, of course, you drop below -3. But if you reach -3, if you're right on that cusp and you're maybe healed, you know, we of course use Cure Light Wounds. It required a system shock roll to see if you actually survived, even though the spell was cast and you might gain the hit points, but your system shock didn't allow it, and that's what happened with the Dwarfus Bicklemole, sadly. So it becomes evening time. It seems like it's been a rather long day, when really it's just been filled with monotony. Seeing other people passing by on the road, everyone's feeling really antsy. We really need to get this back to Elfwine, and we know it's, you know, it's missed, and it's not the furthest distance. But it sure isn't that close either, and we still know it's days at our rate, our movement rate. So with that on our minds, the light starts to dim, and we have 3 people who can be on watch tonight. We'll see who that is. But first, our evening encounter. Oh, I knew it was going to come eventually. There it is. Alright, let's see what it is. Dang, we were just getting to the point where I thought maybe we could get on the road and travel again. Let me mark this down first. I've been terrible, another thing, critiquing myself about playing this. While I'm focused on a lot of things, and I give myself some credit, and I give myself some, you know, some knocks, some hard knocks. One of the hard knocks is I'm still absolutely terrible about keeping track of rounds in combat and also declaring actions before initiative. And I'm really going to try and focus on this. it's going to be so important when a lot of spells and things start to go off, and timing is really important later, but now is the time to like ingrain that, so I'm hopefully going to be better at it this time because I'm thinking about it right now. Okay, first thing we need to do is let's find out what it is that we have encountered, and it's still just evening, so the sky is pink and it's darker, but it's not, you know, it's not really the end of the night. 15, that's low. Orcs, 1 to 4 orcs. Let's hope it's no more than 1. 2. Alright, 2 orcs. Well, alright. They've got 1 hit dice. That's good. They're using long swords and they have scale mail, so their AC is 6. Moving 9. So they're basically like us with a worse armor class. Let's see how many hit points they have. Just 1 hit dice. 8 max. Alright. Thankfully, Asher has he'll get a hatred bonus on them. We're really not up for a battle though, you know, like Willam hasn't even memorized spells yet, so really I think he's gonna try not to be noticed for the most part. We'll see how this plays out, but we have somebody who's okay and can deal with it, and others who can't. Okay, and they are a move of 9. Attacks 1, 1 to 8, 2 to 12, or 1 to 8, 1 to 12. And let's see if we are surprised. Is anybody surprised? We're only surprised on a 1 since we have Ranger in the party. And we are not, but they are surprised. So, we only get 1 attack on them though, but let's see how far away they are. I'm having to chase down my foresiders. They're so hard to pick up. You can hear me rummaging around in the box with them. 6 die 4. We have 8, 10, 11 to start with. 11 and 18. Wow. 180 yards. It's quite a ways. And a 9 movement. So Asher is probably on his at his best right now and thinking, I feel it. I hear him, I smell him off in the distance. Orcs. Alright, so let's start from the fire. We have plenty of time. We surprised him, so Willam is just going to be by kind of taking care of Svaldi crouched around him, and Randall and Asher will move forward a bit while the cart is of course behind, and we're usually about 400 to 500 yards from the river and a couple of 100 yards, at least 200 yards from the path behind us. And it's scrubby flat terrain out here where over eons the river has meandered and made this all kind of like ancient river bottom area between the hills and the open area in the forests or whatever is up ahead. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Man, they're way off in the distance out here. And we take out our bows and try to get a shot off, and we weren't prepared, so we're going to draw our weapons and then we'll be able to notch and fire. Normally we would have a rate of 2. I'm going to call it well, it is in first edition you could draw your weapon and fire depending on the situation. So since we have surprise, I'm going to go ahead and allow it. So for armor class 6 against Splint, I bet a short bow doesn't have anything. No, doesn't. It would be a 14, but we're at long range. In fact, we can't even attack at this point, so it doesn't matter. We notch our bows and prepare to fire. And see, I rolled surprise. I should have again declared what I was going to do. But in any effect, we're at such long range, we're not going to be able to fire yet. So we wait, because running up, actually we might want to engage them and get some distance between us and the other party, part of the party that we don't want to attack. or to be attacked. So we will move. We'll notch our bows and move up 60 yards, because even at 9, they're not going to be able to attack us. And yes, that's right. So we move up 60 and are ready. And they were at 180. And we are prepared to fire bows. And it becomes initiative. They are going to move in to attack. Oh, they lost initiative. Excellent. And it does make it a longer range, though. So, if they were still at 180, we moved up 60, so they're at 120 yards. We're long range right now, but we're going to go ahead and fire. So it'd be -5. We would need normally a 14. So, 19 or 20 is the only way I'm going to hit here. It would really be like attacking a 1 armor class. That's what it would really be. Yeah, see, same thing, 19. So we both take a shot at each one in front of them. Randall. Oh, he hits. Yes. Go, Randall. All right, 1 to 6. 4 points. He's down half. So I'll call this one the Randall one, and we'll call the other one the Asher one. Oh, why did I do that? I put this right where I was gonna. Right hit points, right damage. Okay, anyway, they're 1 to 8, 1 to 12. Uh, 4 points of damage, so this one's down half. And Asher, he's going to get a +2 because of a Rachel hatred and because of his dexterity. So a +2 where he would have needed a 19, he's going to get a 17. He needs a 17. Come on. No. So close. 16. All right. And this would be, I'm going to call it round 1 because it's not surprise. And they both used an arrow. So that's 5 for Asher now. Only 2 for Randall. And it is their attack, and they are going to rush in. Charge is not the right word. They're not charging in. They're just moving their full movement. So they moved last time. That was 120, and now another 90. They're pretty much like right in front of us now. Maybe like that. We can definitely get in a point blank, but then we'll be trying to change out weapons in an awkward position. But I think it's worth it. Try it without any minuses. So we're going to stick with our bows and try to get off another shot. And they're just going to come in. They're continuing to come in and attack with their long swords. Willam is still going to stay back there. This is just what they're going to be doing. Hanging out there trying to avoid being noticed. Same with the carriage, and they're not really stopping their chanting. They're continuing on, even though they're keeping an eye out on what's going on with the combat. Oh, and we lost initiative this time. Alright, and so they move up and are ready to attack. They can't attack though this round. It's too far. But they're right on us. And we still have our bows in our hands. So we don't get to attack either. I drop my bow. They both drop their bows and draw their swords, and Randall his shield, and prepare to deal with the onslaught. So that was round 2. So for round 3, yeah, we're prepared now. We're all prepared. And they're going to come in and be attacking us. We both have armor class 3. And they are first. They're 1-hit dice monsters. So they need a 16 to hit us, but they have long swords. And they get a -1. So they would actually be hitting us at 2. Which is a 17. They'll need a 17 to hit us. And they are armor class 6. And Asher has a bastard sword, which is a +1. So he's going to get +2 because he already has a +1 to attack. Actually, he gets a +2 to attack. 1 for his dex and 1 for his racial. For being a ranger, so he gets +2. So it'd be a 12. But a 14 for Randall. Okay. 12 and 14, and they need a 17 to hit us, so this is looking a lot better than the wolves. Roll for round 3 initiative. We lose 2 and 5. And so this one on Asher Wildwood, no, he misses. And this one on Randall. Who? Oh, he misses as well. That was close. I thought I was looking down at Randall's. He needs a 14. It scared me there for a second. Alright, and we get our initiative. Asher Wildwood goes in. Tries to slash across his chest from up high with his bastard sword. Oh, and he does it. 20. Nice. He comes down with a hard strike across him and at an angle and just slices right into that scale mail. And using it two-handed against small or medium is 2 to 8. Six points. Oh, and he's dead. That's it. He's out. He would be down to -2. This other one, Randall attacks with his longsword, and he misses. So that makes it initiative for round 4. Ooh, that thing's rolling all over. We lose again. And this orc now is dead. And this orc is undamaged. And so Randall's going to be turning and attacking him. I should have declared this first, right? See, I'm already rolling initiative. He's going to turn it into an attack, of course. This one might... Well, no, he knows better than to break or run. It would never work, and he's kind of out in the middle of nowhere, so there's no place to defend back and defend into. So he's just gonna fight it out for life. The only thing that makes sense to do. But first, he takes a big old swing at Randall across his neck, at head, kind of high shoulder, neck level. Misses, and let's see, we'll start with Randall since he's on him. No, Randall misses, but Asher then tries to come down with another blow from high to low without hitting Randall. Oh, and he does it. He's the orc slaughterer. 2 to 8. Let's hope he gets 8. No, 5. That's okay. He's down to 3. Alright. And that would make an initiative. And before I roll it, we're going to declare. This orc is so nervous, he knows he's about to die. He's already in pain, but he can't run. Just gonna eat your hearts out. He goes crazy. And the two fighters, of course, are in like a bloodlust warrior kind of frenzy. And so, will the dying blows come? Oh. We gain initiative this time. Randall in front of him misses, and Asher Wildwood with a thrust into the gut misses. Oh, dang. And so the orc kind of spits up on Randall, and attacks him again with his longsword. Oh, and he hits. No! And that is bad. What is it? 1 to 8. This could kill Randall. 4 points. He's down to 0 again. It just sticks him in his gut. Man, back down to 0 and unconscious within a couple of days of each other. Like 3 days? 4 days? I'll have to count it here in a minute. But that's it. He's out, and the orc's blade is still kind of stuck in him for a moment as he looks up and grins at Asher with his orc blood coming out his mouth and kind of dripping down, and Asher's just like, oh! He's gonna gut the orc, and the orc knows he's gonna die, but he he's just gonna take it. So we roll initiative. Oh, and they win initiative. So he realizes he has a moment left to live, and the orc attacks Asher. He misses, and Asher comes in with the killing blow. No! He misses. Dang. So these guys are locked in battle. And we're on to the 6th round. We lose initiative. The orc fighting for his life in a frenzy. Oh! Oh, he missed. Whew. That scared me. He missed by 1. He needed a 17. Asher Wildwood misses as well. They're parrying. They're dancing back and forth every time the orc, or every time Asher goes crazy. He's in this frenzy and he keeps coming down on him harder and harder, but the orc just keeps lifting his sword and parrying it. And it's initiative again. Same thing's going to happen. They are just locked in this battle to the death. We win initiative. Come on, Asher, you can do it. No. But the orc, can he put a blow in? No, he misses as well. It chinks off his armor. It hits him in the shoulder, kind of the side, as Asher was swinging a little bit wild. He's still a young ranger. He doesn't quite know how to land the best blows yet. They lose initiative. Oh, and finally, Asher, remembering his training, sinks a blow between the neck area and the top of the splint mail the orc is using. Too common music. I gotta put this one in a different place. Oh, he only does 2 points of damage to him. Dang. He's down to 1. So he's kind of at the end. The orc is at the end of Asher's blade. Asher is from up high, thrusting into the neck area. And this orc, now with 1 hit point, is kind of on his knees, down at the ground. All the orc blood is kind of blackish and running out his mouth and everything. And it's really nasty. But they are still fighting it out, and we are on the 8th round. And it's the orcs. Oh, wait. The orc didn't get his attack. We will be on the 8th round in a minute. Let me go ahead and just erase that. Go through the motions here. The orc tries to get in a blow from the ground. Oh, and he does it. He tries to get in, they're kind of like stabbed each other at the end of each other's blades. 1.8. Oh, wait. No, I'm sorry. That didn't happen. Because this point, Asher gets +2 because of his racial hatred and his strength. So no, that orc is dead. He only had 3 hit points, and I did 2, plus the 2. Plus the 2 damage for strength, and his racial hatred would do that guy in. So, whew, that was really close, man. We could have potentially lost another player character. Wow. That's all I can say. Wow. So we killed them both. 2 orcs. Have to look up how much those are. And this is on the 5th of Growfest. And they may have some treasure on them, so I guess what I'll do is let's kind of sum up what's happening here. He went to 0, and then there were 2 rounds that went by, but he doesn't drop. At 0, he just falls unconscious. He's not like bleeding out or anything at this point. So Asher binds his wounds and then proceeds to try to drag him as best he can without hurting him too badly over to the fire. It's not an easy thing to do. And Willam immediately comes to aid as well and helps how he can, even though there's not much he can do. And the darkness sets in on us. Look up orcs here. There we go. I have a hard time putting all this in the same scene, so I may just forget it. These orcs are lawful evil, so it makes sense that they were part of this situation that we find ourselves in. We don't really know who the opposing forces are. We don't really know what we're up against. But we do know that individuals have treasure type L. And individual treasure type L is 2 to 12 pieces of electrum per individual. 2 to 12 pieces per individual. So for the first one, 9. And for the second one, 7. So 16. And orcs. Orcs are 10 plus 1 per hit point each, so they're only 20 XP. But everything helps. Okay. Well, friends, as much as Balda and Tiny want to help, this is looking like more and more like a no-win situation, and that the party has become more of a detriment and a burden to getting the holy receptacle to Elfwine in the church versus not, versus helping. And that's sad, because it's really their quest in life right now, and people have died, I don't know what else to say about how somber it is as they watch over their two friends' bodies in the dark night. And finally, they're both up, and we make our midnight encounter check. No encounter. Hooray! Maybe St. Cuthbert is with them. Who knows, friends? Well, friends, this is where I'm going to leave it. We didn't have that midnight encounter, thankfully, but we're just, one step forward, two steps back, you might say. I'm hoping we can get moving here soon, but Svaldi's not out of his coma after nearly dying, and Randall he's a fighter, the poor guy. He's been unconscious and near dead more than anybody else in the party. But I guess that's the way it is with fighters anyway, There's that term meat shield. I hate to use it, but, what are fighters for, right? If you can't depend on them to defend the party and maybe even die, take one for the team, huh? Well, we'll see. Anyway, thanks for joining me. I guess I'll see you on another stream. Bye-bye.